Welcome to Brunch with Besties podcast.
Hey guys,
I am Sherry Renee.
I'm Chanel.
Happy Monday, guys.
It's Monday. Your besties are back.
We are back. We are definitely back. Today we're talking about archetypes.
Yeah,
And it kind of reminded me of when we talked about attachment theory,
it did. I agree. I
which
definitely agree with that.
which was a year ago. However, I do want to say that sometimes we do send you guys replays. So the original time that we played Attachment Theory was episode 111, and then we replayed it, I don't know, maybe like a month or so ago, episode 159. So some of you heard that episode and thought that we were doing whatever we said we were doing in that episode. Like I think it said I went to Philly. It said my niece was 2, but she's 3. If it says rewind, that means we replayed the episode. So we're getting better. When we're out of the office, I'll call it. Now we try to do a pre-play.
There we go.
But in cases when we don't, your girls got to send the rewind because when we send y'all nothing, y'all act brand new.
As we get all the hate mail and the messages like, where is the episode? So we gonna be better at that.
We're going to be better. So we try to do pre-plays when we can pre-plan if we're going to be out. But like I said, we do occasionally do rewind. So thank you for listening to Attachment Theory again. And now we're going to talk about archetypes. But before we get into that, we're going to start like we always do with a toast. So my beautiful bestie, who are you toasting to today?
I'm gonna give my toast to hopefully Mother Nature. It's supposed to snow here in Wisconsin. And we'll see if we have a snow day tomorrow, even though schools aren't really in. But it would be nice to have like a real snow day to not have to do anything. So we'll see if that happens. So shout out to Mother Nature and this wonderful Wisconsin weather that we're having right now. I'm still stuck in Cancun. Like I just look at my skin and I'm like, I'm still a little tan. I'm holding on to my tan and I still have tan lines. So, but this weather is depressing already. And we ain't even got nowhere yet through the winter.
Right. That is so funny because we're acting brand new because we're calling this a snow day. And we are actually recording from home today. So we are recording virtually. If you're from Wisconsin, then you know we get out in the snow no matter what happens. It could be 3 feet and we'll be out there. But now we're acting like the people in the South. It get half an inch and they just be like, shut down everything. We can't go. We can't go anywhere. So since we've been quarantined, we're now acting brand new. Like Chanel texts me like it's gonna snow. I said, snow? Who does that? We can't be out here in the snow.
Not at all. And your girl car is not snow ready. I know we in Wisconsin, but sis
You
car,
didn't winterize?
yeah, nah, she didn't winterize. So I would have been slipping and sliding. So nah, we're at the home being safe.
Yes, yes, yes. So what does a snow day even mean? Since we're virtual, like if there's a snow day, won't they still just log in?
I know, and that's the thing. So I'm like, wouldn't they? Because the largest school district, NPS, is all virtual, and that's usually what we look at to go by if we're gonna have a snow day. So since they're already virtual, a snow day would look like a regular virtual day. However, we have partners who go in person, like another childcare center here in Milwaukee. So if they close, then we gonna close too and do it like a regular school day since our kids come in person.
Okay,
Yeah, so that's
cool.
what I'm hoping for.
Come on, Mother Nature.
And come on, Mother Nature. But we get all these warnings in Wisconsin. It's a blizzard and it's gonna be crazy. And get all your groceries and your tissue, and we get like no snow. So
Yeah. Hmm.
all right, but what's going on? Who you giving your toast to?
I too, and I'm still in Cancun, and I don't really have a lot of. I have one tan line that I found,
Aw, you got some
but
good
that's
skin
it.
because my skin was burning up.
No, I think it's because I had on that really big hat.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was blocking most of the sun for me. I literally have a tan only on the bikini bottom. Like I was like, oh, okay,
I mean, you didn't have no pants on.
well, only in Cancun because I would never do that in the United States of America ever.
Only in Cancun.
Only
I
in
mean,
Cancun.
didn't wear no pants.
But I have to, I do want to put an asterisk there and let people know that now they don't sell a lot of swimming suits that aren't bikini bottom. So it wasn't necessarily like I was just trying to be out here in a bikini bottom.
That's
There
true.
wasn't many options. So I did have, I think when we were at the island, I did wrap something around me though. So I'm like, how did I get this tan?
That is funny.
So
You
I have no tans. Like you had like a farmer's tan even
girl,
going on.
yes.
Like I have no, unless I just got evenly brown. I don't know, child, but I haven't seen a difference.
Something.
Only in one spot. So
All the vitamin D. But yeah, you did. You had your big hat on. You had your sarongs. So you was
right, because I didn't put on any suntan lotion because I don't do that. I try to, but I know better. I just don't do better sometimes.
oh, we know better now. She gonna put it on because I'm gonna make sure she do because I was burning like a mug. Like,
Yeah.
no, suntan lotion me, please. Okay.
Suntan lotion me, please. But no, you know what? My toast is going to go to Kalita. Kalita
Okay.
Williams, a beautiful woman of Sigma Gamma Rho who did our photos for us. She did them a while ago, but your girls was on. We were moving in slow motion because we were still on Cancun time. But yeah, our photos turned out really nice. So we're just kind of working on some rebranding, some refreshing. So you should see some new images from us coming soon. We're trying to revamp some things. So shouts out to Kalita for not only doing amazing photos, but also just giving amazing insight on marketing and advertising and beyond.
Yeah, shout out to Kalita. She's amazing. So book your branding sessions with her ASAP. You won't be disappointed.
Yes, Kalita Williams Photography.
Mm.
So let's break bread. Bestie, how are you doing?
I am good. I'm still living in gratitude, just finding ways to be, thankful and grateful for things. And today we were supposed to have our staff meeting, but it got pushed back. So I was like, look at God, like this is amazing because there were some other things that I needed to take care of. So I'm just thankful for all the blessings, big and small. I'm gonna take them all and just be grateful. So I think I'm still in that mode of really like being in tune and intentional of being thankful and just thanking God like every chance I get. So I really had one of those moments today where I was just like, wow, like thank you, Lord, because I got some other stuff I wanted to do and I didn't want to be at work till 7 o'clock. Like, no. So yeah.
Yeah, same here. Just being grateful, and just realizing, he didn't have to do it, but he did. But your girl has been drinking her water, getting her steps, minding her business, and doing her Bible app. That's all. Just trying to mind my business. Had a great weekend. Spent time with some great people. Monday came sooner than I would have liked, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Listening to some great conversations on Clubhouse. So I believe I gave a shout out to Clubhouse last week. So yeah, just out here just minding my business.
That's how you glow, minding your business.
Minding my business, child.
That's
Just
how
minding my
you
business.
the soul glow. You just gotta mind your business. And shout out to the weekend. I think the weekend we did a really good job of living in the moment and doing some self care and things like that. So this weekend was good to me. It did fly by, but it was good. Good weekend.
Yeah, I got a lot of rest this weekend.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad because y'all, Sherry be up all
Dude,
hours.
I'm really a night owl. I don't know what y'all want me to do.
Oh my God. I'll wake up in the middle of the night, send a text, and she'll reply right back. I'm like, what? Like, go to sleep.
It's not just me. The whole group replies right away. Like, I don't know if we think it's urgent or what.
And it really don't be. I'd be like, yeah, y'all, that's good. Like,
And everybody likes it. I don't know what that is. I think honestly Cancun, okay, being off for 30 days definitely has my sleep out of whack. So I'm trying to get myself back to my normal regimen. I will say too that I am naturally a night owl. So even as a child, I would be up all night. When I was in college, I did work third shift. So I be up all hours of the night. But before I did discipline myself to get up very early. Like I would try to get up around 5 so that I would be sleepy during the nighttime. But child, having all them days off, I don't know if I'm coming or going. This morning I woke up so late. Like I was just like, I woke up late, number one. And I was just like taking my time because that's usually what I do in the morning. It's 5 a.m. And then I was like, oh, let me just look at my schedule for the week because I didn't look at it last night. And I'm like, girl, you got to meet at 8 o'clock and it's 7:59.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
exactly. So I'm like, no camera. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, right? I'm just like, let me get it together real quick without being on the camera.
That is
But yeah, I think that I need to accept that I am working. Like, I think that I still haven't caught up with that. Like, I don't know if I'm in the denial phase, if I'm bargaining. Like, I just feel like I haven't fully gotten to acceptance. But I'm gonna have to get there because there's a lot of stuff to be done. And you know, I got a new job, so I can't be out here playing around.
No, because you big bossing it now. You can't be slacking when you
Can't
got
be slacking.
a title in front of you. But you'll get it together. I mean, it does take time to ease in, and I don't think it's just you, but I think COVID has done that to a lot of people. Like being out of work for so long and then you gradually start to go, like that's tough for anybody. But you will get it, child. You'll slowly start to get back in that groove.
Child, I'm gonna have to. There's no choice.
Right. Hey.
So she has bills. So
exactly. And the bottom line is she ain't got a choice. So she gotta do what she gotta do.
That's what it comes down to.
There we go.
So now it is time.
I was ready. I was ready today.
Okay. Now it's time for the tip.
All right.
And we're back. So next on the menu, of course, is tea time. And again, we are talking about dating archetypes. So sort of like your personality type, I suppose, when it comes to dating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think, did we find this on Clubhouse?
Yeah. Was it you that sent it to
everybody? Girl, no. You know I didn't send this. It must have been Scar.
Oh, no. It was Marina, actually.
Oh, Marina. Okay.
Marina sent it to me. So, you know, all the Clubhouse lingo. But I pinged you all into the room. So that's how you all got to it. So yeah, so she just was like,
is this the one where my boy Matthew Hussey was in the room?
Matthew Hussey.
So I missed this room. I didn't get in it. I don't know what I was doing, but I was not available.
Yeah, I think you were doing a sorority meeting or you were working or something. You were doing
okay. Something. I was doing something, child. Who knows? But I did get the link for the quiz.
Yes.
So I missed the discussion. However, I did see the link. I did take the quiz, and we did discover that there are 4: the avoider, the looper, the surfer, and the sailor. Mm-hmm. So essentially, I don't recall how many questions there are, but the link is in our episode description, so you can feel free to take the test yourself. But basically, based off the set of questions, if you answer honestly, you can get your archetype. And so, well, first of all, what was your score?
So my score was a 30, I believe. And shout out to Francesca Hoagie, who started this ideology. Want to give credit to her because that's where it came from. But my score was a 30, and I'm so slow. Like I did the quiz like a couple times because I didn't see my score at the bottom because it tells you to put your email address in. So I put it in and I'm like, oh, they're going to send it to me. So that's what I was thinking. So I had to do it a couple times, but I don't think my answers changed or wavered or anything like that. But I got a 30 was my score. What'd you get?
I think I got a 35. So I was the sailor.
Okay.
So I'm glad we got different ones. We'll see.
Yes. I was a surfer. So
surfboard.
Yes, surfboard.
But we will start with the avoider. So if you scored between 10 and 14, you are the avoider. So these are the people that stay busy with work, family and obligations, travel schedules, friends. Honestly, when I read this, I'll be like, that's me because I'm always doing something. But I'm a sailor, so we'll just keep reading on. But in any case, I guess I do have these obligations, but people that are avoiders, they do this with the intent to get distractions, right? Mm-hmm. So they're looking to have distractions so that they don't have to face relationships. So the reason why they will do this is because of past heartbreak and trauma.
Yep. So. And listening to this, so we also found a clip on YouTube by Francesca, and she was kind of talking about how all of these, the reason why she started this ideology is because she could identify herself in all of these types. And thinking about it made me think about our episode when we talked about like being unworthy. That's what the avoider sounded like to me. And I can also identify with that too. Like some stuff is just like I'm gonna self-sabotage because I don't think I'm worthy enough for this. And I think that is very much what an avoider would do also. Just having that mindset that I'm not good enough, so I'm gonna do something to remove myself from the situation.
So I think that I have certainly been the avoider. There was certainly a period of time where I was like, I don't want to date. Like, I'm not trying to do this. I didn't necessarily self-sabotage, but it was more so around, I'm not going to have any interest. So it's funny though, because when I was avoiding, that's when all the big fine men came out. And I was like, no, thanks, working on me. Sorry, can't do it. Would love to give you a recommendation to someone. Won't be able to do that right now. Maybe circle back in 6 months. I don't know. But no, I think that it was just me realizing during that time frame that I just wasn't emotionally available. So I thought that it wouldn't behoove me to engage with other people because, hurt people hurt people. So I think that I certainly was avoiding to a certain degree, right? Like, well, I guess is avoiding, is that the same thing of just not, of recognizing that you're not ready?
The way she was saying it on the video, I don't think it's not. I didn't get the feeling that it was coming from a place of just I'm not ready. Like I'm choosing to be single. I think avoider was something out of fear. Like something from fear is keeping you from jumping into dating, whether it be past hurts or self-sabotage or I don't know, unworthiness. Like it was something from that stemmed people to be avoiders. And that's how I take it. And I could totally be wrong, but that's the way that I chose to internalize it. Because just of the way she was talking about it, like even at the end, she talked about in ways in which avoiders can overcome that and start to move into some of the other types. But a lot of it was like, just love yourself and be confident in who you are. So
love yourself.
Yeah, right. Say your daily mantras and your affirmations because you are worthy. So that's how I took it, that avoidant person would feel like they were not good enough. Which is
so maybe it was a little bit of avoider because I think that maybe I just communicated it differently, right? But I think that I was just like, I'm not in a place where I can do this. I'm trying to heal, maybe I don't feel worthy right now and I don't want to incite toxicity. So I think it's best if I just give you a clean no.
Yes.
So you can go on, be free. Think you're great.
Right.
However,
right.
Can't do this right now, right? Don't want to infect anyone. Don't want to infect anyone.
Yeah, like you said, it's very true. Like hurt people really do hurt people. I know that's like a cool saying, but it's true. And you're not intentionally trying to do it, but that's just the way that we affect one another. Once we're hurt, then that's all we know. So then we go to the next person trying to do the same things as before, and it's just a terrible cycle, man.
Yeah, I think for me, I can't go from one person to the next. Like I have to take that break and really look, kind of take a pause, do some self-reflection, own my piece of it, evolve, and then get back out there. Like I can't just keep moving on.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm always shocked when I see people who do that, and there's no shade to them or like no judgment or anything, but I'm just like, how did you do it? Because I feel like for me too, like I'm trying to figure out, the pattern. Like where did I go wrong? Where did we go wrong? Like what's something that I can fix or change? What's something that, I'm going to go into the next thing once I feel comfortable that, I've learned from this past relationship. But I feel like for me, honestly, like I haven't had many relationships in my adult life. I mean, I've had boyfriends when we were in high school, but at this point, at 34, I'm starting to not count those because I was a kid. Hey, those are voided out.
Oh my God. Not the voided out, child. Not the voided out.
I didn't date you you know, before, I mean, past 25, like, you don't even count in my head. Like, it just, no, we were not together.
You remind me of the meme where it's like, if we dated in 2020, that didn't count. I thought we were gonna die. Like,
girl, and I'm so serious. Like, no, I was a kid. My brain wasn't developed. Those don't count. So.
I count them. I think that for me, those were pretty pivotal. So for me, I have to count them. Maybe because I had a pretty significant relationship during that time that lasted over 6 years. So it would be weird for me to just be like, that didn't happen. Um, and I think that's when I was like, yep, I need to take a pause.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta do some reflection here. What kind of person do I need to become? Because now, and I think too, that's when I learned a lot about what I like, what I don't like, what I need, what I don't need. That's when I started to create some boundaries, and then they had to sort of continue to evolve. I think that's when I started to create some standards. And I also think that my first relationship was my baseline.
Mm-hmm.
So for a while, that was sort of like ideal.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then I had to mature after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's, for me, I'm just like, no, I don't. I think I was very immature in those
Mhm.
relationships. And I feel like I've learned so much more about me, and I don't want to let those relationships define who I am.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm just like, no,
You're
don't.
like, nope.
I'm gonna
Wash it away, set it free.
say it's free and you can go. Caw.
Caw.
Yeah.
Set it free.
Set it free. Listen. But I think again, these it wasn't many questions on the quiz. I feel like it was like 10 questions, if it was even that. But this avoider one, I was totally in that space before. So it's interesting that you know, you look at yourself honestly and to be like, okay, well, that was me, like being afraid of being in a relationship. But I think I have a higher question. Like, this is the archetypes of dating. And I'm always a big person, like, what is dating? Because that means something to everybody. Like, it's not just cut and paste, like, dating is this. Like, everybody has their own perception of what dating is.
Yeah. I guess it's to be defined by those individuals. But you know, when you said that, you reminded me of one of the rooms that we were in,
Mm-hmm.
and it was called "Do Broke Men Deserve High Value Women?"
Okay.
And all the men were in there. I don't think you were in that one because
Mm-hmm.
I think I was texting y'all like, y'all need to get in this room.
Yeah,
but
you were. I was cracking up. And what you looking at, like, woo. But
but
it was said by men,
yeah,
yeah.
all the men were like, so how do you define broke? And then there was a guy that was on the panel and he was just like, we all know what broke means. Like, why are we doing this? But you know, it means different things to different people, right? And so then this one guy was like, I make X amount of dollars, and in other countries that's a lot of money. And the panelist was like, we are in America, that is not a lot of money. Get off my stage. And I was like, whoa.
Use your frame of reference, sir. This is America.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was like, you know where the poverty line is in your state.
Right.
But
Listen.
but yeah, so in any case, the question is, what is dating, right?
Yeah.
Um, what is it for you?
So and I think I posted this on my Instagram and got some really, like, everybody's answers was like kind of the same but like slightly different, which tells me that everybody has a different perspective of what dating means to them. So for me, dating means getting to know someone, going out to do like-minded things or things that, you know, you want to explore, but the ultimate goal is to get to know them to see if it's worth having a relationship with. I think that's what dating means to me. I don't think it means exclusivity. I feel like you could date whomever you want to, like however many people. I think for me, the dating is the interview process. Like, to think about it in a corporate or a career aspect, that dating is like the interview to the person that you're potentially either see value in or see alignment with, is what I would say it is.
Yeah, I think dating is absolutely the pursuit of the relationship, right? So, the analogy of an interview process, I would agree with that. But I also think that in the interview process, you're revealing who you are, right? So you're sharing your world. You're saying, these are my standards. You're seeing, does that person meet those standards? You're saying, this is who I am. Does this person accept me for who I am? This is where I'm going. Is this person aligned with where I'm going? So you're looking for the synergies. You're looking for the alignment. How can I serve this person? How can this person serve me? Etc. But again, with the intent on matriculating into a relationship. I would also say vulnerability is required for that, right? So there are certain key elements of relationships that you kind of take little snippets of, right? So you may not reveal everything, but you are certainly showing that person who you are. You're slowly taking off your mask.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now, be that multi-dating or single dating, people have their own views on that. I'm not here to tell y'all what to do,
There we
but but that is what I think dating is.
For sure.
And I would agree with the going out. I was in another room, and a lot of women were saying that they don't, I guess they call themselves dating or talking to or whatever, but they're not going out. To me, this is not a date if we are not going out.
Yeah, like
I don't know what that's about. I don't know who started the Netflix and chill, but if I
know.
could, I'd shoot them, because that is the most ridiculous BS that I've ever heard in my life.
I really don't know. I think the talking and the dating, people try to interchange them so much that it has become kind of blurred to some people. Like they really think that just because we might text a couple times a day that we're dating. Like, no, like we haven't stepped foot out of anybody's house. You have not planned anything. Like this is not a date, nor has it ever been a date. And talking, don't talk to me, like talk to God. Like I don't, what are we talking about?
Yeah, this whole talking thing. So I do think that dating has phases, right? And before the relationship, there is dating exclusively with that one person, or dating. Yeah. But in any case, I think that it starts with a conversation.
Sure.
So I can acknowledge the talking, but that is probably, I mean, I don't put a lot of weight there, right? Because if somebody is only texting me, especially if I haven't met them in real life, like in person, it's hard for me to, like, I don't know your voice. I don't know your mannerisms. I don't know your speech patterns. Like, there's just so many missing elements that you have to, yeah, I don't count that as dating.
Yeah, especially when
I don't get your inside jokes. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
when the talking turns into Netflix and chilling, then the lines have been blurred. Like I don't know what this is, and I'm guilty of the Netflix and chill, you know. And then I grew up, and now I know better. So there's that. But nah, I think at 34, like you're not gonna tell me that we're just talking. Like no thanks, sir. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there's usually disagreement, right? Like, we talking, we're dating. No, we just talking. What?
Yeah.
So to eliminate all that, I say get rid of it.
I agree. Let's get rid of talking. Like, hear ye.
Attention, everyone, effective immediately.
This is not a drill. Talking is out.
It's
Like,
out.
just take it out.
It's out.
Period. We're done with talking.
Because if we talking, I could talk to a bunch of people now.
Please listen. And most importantly, again, don't talk to me. Talk to God is who you should be talking to. Like, I don't want to talk to you. So there's that. But the dating.
I would also add that dating is intentional, right?
Yeah. Ooh,
so talking, I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's too fluid. Like what is right?
It's very fluid. It's very fluid.
I mean,
I don't know.
Let us know what y'all think. But I'm in agreement. Let's take that out of the dating sequence. I mean, again, yes, you have to have conversations with people, sure. But when the talking starts to be blurred into something else like a Netflix and chill, a Hulu and me and you, or whatever the terms are for all of these things, then no, that's out.
Yeah, so I would agree. I would say talking is talking, meaning that maybe you're getting to know that person on the phone, either via text, conversation, video chat, whatever. Yeah. I don't believe in the Netflix and chill.
Girl.
So I'm gonna cut that out because I mean you have to start with talking, right? Everything starts with a conversation.
Absolutely.
But what's not allowed, what we're really getting rid of here is the Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Because the talking leads to the date, right? But the can I come over? Mm-mm.
Yeah, nah. For what?
Nope. Can't do it, won't do it, ain't gonna do it.
We got the same stuff. Couch, coffee table. Like, what do you need to see? We got the same.
But I think that you're skipping. See, we ain't even focusing on archetypes no more. But I think that you're skipping the whole element of let me show you who I am.
Sure.
Right? Because like when you take somebody out on a date, like the guy's taking the girl out on the date, you're showing her how you dress. You're showing her how you present in public. You're showing her what type of food you like.
Yeah.
You're showing her your lifestyle to a certain degree. And she's showing you some of those same things, right? Because at some point she needs to share part of her world, et cetera, et cetera. So,
you learn a lot from actually physically going out on a date with somebody.
Right.
You get to see if that person is able to listen to you. Like, have they listened to what you like, what you don't like, what you might be interested in? Because that will show itself in the dates that person chooses.
Yeah. And the reason why I got to put talking back on the table is because, I dated a guy that was long distance, right? And so in the beginning, there was a lot of talking. And then he was like, okay, I need to come up there and take you on a date. And I was like, exactly. Because if you don't,
then this ain't real.
We're just going to stay where we are.
Exactly. And that was purely talking too, which you all did in the right sense. But
I would agree. But there was that escalation, right? It was texting, it was talking, it was FaceTiming, and then he was like, okay, I gotta come, I'm booking my flight, like I gotta come up there and take you on a date. Okay, cool. We good?
I think we're good. Yes, I'm sorry. Jesus. That was weird.
Okay. So if you scored between 14 and 24, you are a looper.
Yes, looper.
Loopers have active love lives, but they feel unsatisfied romantically. So they have trouble breaking their dating habits and patterns. So a lot of times they don't even recognize that they have a pattern. They just keep dating. So they meet more people and they do more of the same thing over and over again. So they're literally stuck in a loop. So regardless of their history or experience, they just kind of keep repeating the same cycle. The good news is you can get out of this loop. Should you recognize it? But I mean, have you ever been a looper?
No, I would say that I have not been a looper, for the simple fact that dating is relatively new to me. And having a clear idea of what dating is and what it should look like is a newer idea to me. And I've never been the type of woman to date or talk to or whatever multiple people at a time. Like that's not me. And I always think about hearing my mom's voice, like, don't put all your eggs in the same basket, like, date multiple people. But I think for me, this sounds like serial dater, and that's totally not.
Yes, I would agree.
At all.
Absolutely a serial dater. Or they could just not take a breath, right? Like they could date, get into the relationship, have a breakup, date right away, kind of, just kind of repeat the cycle.
Yeah, that sounds exhausting. Like I
feel like, to me, it sounds like you're running from something. Like you're afraid to face yourself. Like, I don't want to be alone. So let me hurry up and replace this guy. And it literally could be anybody.
Yeah.
So to me, when I think of looper, I think of, I don't even really know this person because it doesn't matter. I just need a man.
And I don't have to, and vice versa, because there's guys who do this too, I'm sure. But I love what you just said. If they're running from something, and it's probably themselves. Like, I cannot face the things that I need to heal within myself, because that takes some work, man. And I think we know that we're trying to do the work now, and doing the work is so hard, but it's so rewarding. So if I could just keep replacing people to give me the illusion that I'm okay, then I feel like that's what the looper is doing.
Yeah. And I think too, there's no healing, right? It's I'm hurt, let me get a new man. He
Yeah.
hurt me. Now let me get a new man or
Yeah.
a new woman, whatever, right? Like you said, in the case of the guys. But I think that there's no reflection, there's no introspection, there's no evolution. I think there's only cycles.
And no accountability, which is
No accountability. That's good. No accountability.
so if you're constantly
I
replacing.
don't think I'm built to be a looper.
Yeah.
You know, I think that I'm naturally sort of, you know, like I'm a learner, right? I do a lot of introspection. I need to read. I need to evolve. Like I need to, I can't let something not count for something.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't just have a heartbreak, get somebody else, have a heart. Like I need, it has to mean something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, now there's been 5 guys and I can't even tell you what happened.
Exactly.
So I need to be like, I need to be able to say like, yep, and from this relationship, I learned this and now I'm better. Now let me move on. If I don't have that, then I literally cannot move forward.
Yep. Yep.
So, and that doesn't mean that I, you know, get all the lessons after every break, but I have to at least get something that makes me say, you know what? And this is where you went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that no more.
Yeah, and I agree, same. And I think that's kind of what I take with me as well, where I'm just like, all right, like, what pattern am I seeing, if there is a pattern, and what's my part in it? Like, I'm always trying to be accountable, because it's easy to be like, oh, you know, he hurt me, or he did this, or he did that, but what did I do? And I know I do stuff, y'all. Like, so
Listen, I be doing stuff, y'all. It be me.
stuff too. So it definitely be me. So I'm just like, okay, well, what's my accountability piece in this? And being a looper is just like, I guess, like you said, the beauty of it is that you can get out of it when you realize that there is a loop, that there is a pattern. Like, how can I stop this?
To me, it's almost like getting high. Like, let me just keep going. Like, let me get another one. Let me do it again.
Yeah.
Like, almost like binging.
Ooh, that's good. That's a really good analogy. Like binging. Like, you just can't stop. Like,
Just can't stop.
Get one more.
Right.
Or get one more person.
And almost like, too, like, I need this to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is it the facade? Like, I need to put on this air of, I know that happened to me last week, but now I got a new man.
But it's like you said, like, that's
like, am I performing? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, performing or running away from some type of, you know, childhood trauma that you had, that you're just trying to patch with these different people. Like
the
these
Band-Aid effect.
Yeah, the Band-Aid. Like, these different people might, you know, fill this whole
void.
Yeah, to a certain extent, but they're not feeling all of it. So now I got to find the next person that's gonna patch it up a little more. But really, the patchwork is done by you and nobody else.
So with that being said, when you meet guys, do you ask them when was the last relationship, like a time frame between, like, when he last dated the last woman versus when he's talking to you?
You know what?
Pursuing you?
Because I'm nosy, and then I'm always like, well, what happened? Like, why did the relationship end? Especially if they have children, I'm asking that question because I need to know, like, how long have you been apart from your child's mother? Like, what we doing here? Because are you backsliding? Like, what you doing? So yeah, I definitely ask that, and I think that's appropriate to ask those questions, like, because I need to know what I need to get a gauge of, you know, your idea of dating, what that's look like.
So then, what do you think is an acceptable time frame for someone to end a relationship and then start pursuing a new one?
I would definitely say, like, at least 6 months. I mean, people heal in their own time, so I don't really want to say, like, you need to do it for 5 years. Like, people do heal in their time, but 6 months that's a good chunk of time where I would be like, okay, well, what work have you done in this 6 months? Like, what steps are you taking to heal yourself? Like, what accountability piece? Like, why did the relationship end? Was it amicable? Like, do y'all hate each other? Like, what happened in this time?
Right. And then two, I always listen to, how does he talk about her?
Yeah, ooh.
Because if you bashing, boo, you gotta go. Set them free.
And that'll tell you everything.
Because, well, it tells you that there's no accountability.
Yep.
Right? It tells you that they still are hurt.
Yep.
And again, hurt people, and that they may not be ready. At least for me. For me, I'll be like, okay, you bashing? No, thanks.
Girl,
Good day.
that tells you everything you need to know about a person, how they talk about that person when that person is not
Mhm.
around and after something has happened.
Yeah,
Yes. So
absolutely.
I'm big on that, especially if it's, well, any woman or any person, period. But especially if it's their kid's mom and they're bashing the kid mom, like, oh no, I'm somebody's mama too. Like, what you not is that? So, like, that's such a turn off to me.
Yeah. And you picked her. So
Right.
the kid's mom, whether you like it or not, she's a reflection of you, or at least who you were at that time.
Girl,
So
we could do a whole clubhouse on that. Like, you picked him, you picked her. Like, get over it.
yeah, and then they're gonna be like, she trapped me. Hey,
But you still fell for the trap.
we ain't talking about her, we talking about you.
Exactly. It is still on you. Fell for the trap. But no, seriously, I think that you brought up a huge point, that the way they speak about that person says everything. And it says everything about them too, like how they feel about themselves.
Yeah, it's totally a reflection. Well, anytime you listen to how someone talks about another person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they call them, if it's their ex or their friend or whatever. Like if you're gonna sit here and bash somebody who you claim to love or have loved or made a whole child with,
Yeah,
there's a problem there.
sure
How they
is.
talk about their parents,
Yeah, that stuff is huge.
that's yeah.
It really is
How they
huge.
talk about their siblings, and I mean, it doesn't mean that they can't share the truths about whatever their experiences are,
Mhm.
but when it just gets to when there's just no respect, then
Yeah.
it's like, hey, as soon as they get the opportunity, they will do it to you, my dear.
Yeah, or the fact that when it's always the other person, like it's never them, it's the somebody else.
Exactly. It's
And
always
I think
somebody else.
that's when it becomes a huge problem, where it's just like, but again, we've talked about accountability so much, and I do really try to be intentional with my part in everything that I do. So it's like, but what are you doing? Like, what am I doing to cause this or be a part of this?
Hmm.
Yeah. So that is
Interesting.
very huge.
Oh, the surfer. If
That's
you
me.
scored between 25 and 33, oh, that's you. Well, let's read on.
That is me.
So surfers are looking for love. They usually go where the tide takes them on their journey. Okay, so you just riding the wave, huh? Just riding the wave.
Doing what, like the waves at Cancun?
so,
There should be a way. So love was like, nope.
so you could get lucky and find a great match. You could also wipe out because that's what waves do. We got wiped out a couple times when
Oh,
we were in Cancun.
we got wiped out. Yes.
But these people sometimes wipe out by giving too much of a chance to the wrong people.
Yes.
So you don't have trouble finding people to date, and you think that you'll know it when you see it, but it leads you to overvaluing instant chemistry.
Yep.
Hmm.
That is very true. Like, this is,
Interesting.
my picture could be on here because that is me for sure. Like,
So it says that you could have a type, but it has more to do with a collection of specific characters or personality traits than physical appearance. Do tell,
I,
surfer.
I would agree with all of this. I think for me, just knowing about my love life and my love history, is I tend to fall for the guy who gives me the attention that I'm looking for at that time. Is
Hmm.
usually what happens. And it'll be based off chemistry. I mean, it's sometimes, I mean, it could be a variety of things. Sometimes it could be looks, it could be their smile, their sense of humor, like just different things will draw me to them. And then I'll be completely like head over heels. Like, I'm so focused and tunnel vision on this one person that, again, that's why Looper would not work for me, because I don't see anybody else. Once I'm hooked, it's like I'm zoned into you. And that,
All I want is you.
yes,
That is
all I want is you.
that is funny.
Which is, I'm learning to stop doing that, because again, I'm putting all my eggs in the basket, and I'm still young where I feel like I don't have to give so much of myself so early for people who show me in time that they don't deserve that. So I'm definitely learning to take my time and to just get to know people and be in a moment, but not being so anchored to people so soon.
Okay. I can sort of relate to this one as well. I don't think I'm a surfer. Well, according to the test, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that initially chemistry got me, but then it became not enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially with me being such a sapiosexual, I'm like, I can have chemistry with anybody because chemistry is anybody that you have something in common with, right?
Yeah.
That could be a trauma bond. Like, all chemistry ain't good chemistry. So I
Mm-hmm.
think over time I learned that, okay, so you're cute.
Well, what else?
But there's a lot of cute men out here in the world, right? So it just became, I need something of substance. I need something of value. I need something with longevity. But you know, chemistry is where everything starts. So it makes sense, right? Like, that's the initial spark. That's the, ooh, tell me more. That's the lean in. That's the, let me respond to the text message, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the, okay, yes, I will, you know, accept the phone call. Yes, I will accept the date. Like, all that stuff starts with chemistry. So it makes sense. I got concerned where it says that it goes where the tide takes them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So if I find that we are not on the same path, I will abandon ship.
Gotcha. So you'll be like, SOS, get me off here. See, I would go where the tide takes me, because I'm like, well, let's see what's gonna happen. Like, because I don't know. And then I never want to feel like I didn't give it a valiant effort. Like, did we both give it a good enough try to be like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
I could agree with the tide, and sometimes, you know, I wipe out, and I can own that. I will wipe out, and I will be like, all right, but let me dust myself off, and know that I am worthy of love. And I think at the end of this one, it says that that I feel okay and it's safe for me to give my love, because I know I'm going to find a compatible person. So I think just staying open, and I think surfers are very like that. Like, surfers are cool. Like, yeah, like, we don't go with the flow.
Surfers are cool, man.
Hey, like,
that's why you got your suntan going, okay?
right, it's rad, dude.
Right, rad, dude.
I think
Real
that
rad.
very much surfer like to be so like, I'ma just go with the flow. And sometimes, like I said, I've gotten wiped out like a mug.
I'm certainly wiped out. That don't mean I didn't wipe out.
Girl,
your girl wipes out.
your girls, plural, us, wipes out, and that's okay. And I think it's just about getting back on that board and keeping hope alive. And I think that's the beauty of surfing. Like, we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna get back.
Yeah, we're resilient. Yeah.
Resilient. Like, we're gonna keep trying, because love has knocked me down so many times, or I could very well be the avoider. Like, I think you could turn into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many times. But I just be like, nope, I'm getting married. Love is out there. Like, I know it is. Like,
yeah, I feel like I am looking out for the tide. So like, I was telling you about this one guy that was like, it's you, I want you, like, just really aggressive in his pursuit, and he met all of the requirements except for one. I was like, but that one was very big to me.
Yeah.
So have I ever met someone like him? No. Like, I thought he was a very unique individual. I'll even say he was a fine man. Okay. I was like, yes. He checked all the boxes that I didn't even know that I wanted. I said, well, look at God.
Hey,
do it. Right. But then when it came down to that one box, I was just like, this one carries the most weight.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it. So I'd have to sacrifice, what may seemingly be small, but it's actually very major for me, to accept all these other, to be able to have all these other things. So it just became a no. So I just had to tell him, I can see the tide coming.
Yep.
I know where this is going. Yep. I don't want to go there.
Listen,
I won't go there.
I'm getting off this board.
I'm getting off the board. I don't want the board no more. The board was cute. I don't want it no more. But so yeah, so I think that if I can see the tide coming, I'll say it like that, because I certainly think that I have wiped out for sure. You know what I mean? But I will absolutely be on the lookout for the tide, because I'm looking for alignment. So I think that there's cases where I'll do my cursory check and say, you didn't pass the smell test, can't move forward. And then there's other guys where I just be like, you're not being consistent. Like, no thanks. Like, I can't give you another chance, because at this point, it's about, I need people to understand that you have to respect me. You got to follow through on what you say you're going to do. That's not cool. Yep. And yeah, I'm just going to leave that there.
Hey, because listen, y'all, what we not going to do is put up with the inconsistencies.
Right.
That's out.
Exactly.
21 and beyond.
Girl. And then there was the sailor.
There's the sailor.
So the sailor is scored 34 through 40. I think I got 35. So I'm right there. I'm on the cusp of everything. My zodiac sign is a cusp. Like, I'm just always on the cusp.
There you go.
It says that they take control of their love journey, knowing that it's only a matter of time until they meet their special someone. I believe that. I think it's only a matter of time. I think I'm a pretty cool chick. So it doesn't mean that I haven't had my share of disappointments, because when I tell you, there has been many, as well as heartache. But it says that it might take a long time, but I have perfected the ability to heal and bounce back. And I do think that I intentionally heal. Like, I'm very intentional. Like, I will tell all the guys no. Like, I'll be like, right now, I'm just doing me. Yep. Can't do this. The funny thing is that that's when all the guys come out. So I don't know if that's a test from God or what. That's when they all come out and they just be all serious, and then they seem to have all of this alignment. And I'm like, that's cool, but it's a no for me.
Right. Like, I think those are tests. Like, let me see if she really gonna do what she's saying she's gonna do.
Right. And the reason why I have to do what I say what I'm gonna do is because I do believe in honoring my word, especially to myself. I believe that it's disrespectful to myself to say I'm going to commit to something, and then if I see a guy that I think is nice, just put myself to the back burner. So it says it's smooth sailing in terms of my ability to find partners that I want, but that doesn't mean that it's all perfect in Sailorland. I agree with that. It's not all perfect. So it says, because I'm good at getting the person I want, make sure that I'm not setting my sights too low. And it's interesting that they say that, because Scarlett and I were having a conversation after being in one of the rooms in Clubhouse, and there were some things that I just did not consider. That I was like, let me figure out, we always talk about standards, right? We talk about, even a few episodes ago, we talked about what green flags are, right? Things like that. But then even looking further down the line, so in one of the rooms, they always were asking the guys, are you traditional or are you modern? Like, that's always a big question that they ask the guys. And when the guys say, I'm both, they say, no, you must choose. So they make the girls answer this, these questions too, because that sets the stage for your relationship and eventually your marriage, should you get married. Right. And while I think I've thought about it to a certain degree, I didn't think about it, I guess, to the depth that they were having that conversation. So they were talking about, so like some of them were even recommending, like they were like, if you are traditional, traditional men really like for, they want to take the lead. They don't want to be emasculated. If women make more money than the men, they might emasculate the men, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, okay, like, I don't think I would do that. But if the man knows that you make more money than him, he could still feel emasculated, especially if, like, he says, no, you can't do something. And then you be like, I make my own money. I buy my own thing. I do what I want.
I don't even need you, because you know that's coming.
Right. But who wants to hear I don't need you?
That's true.
Who,
You're right.
and you know what? While I would never say I don't need you, your actions can say I don't need you.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's something to be mindful of. And so, a lot of them was like, nope, like if he's the head of household, and actually we need to have our boy back on from It's Sherry to Remarry, Sean Heineman,
For sure.
because that's one of the things that he was talking about is he was posting different things like, what does head of household mean? And, my former tax preparer self was like, it means this. Hey, that's not me. That's the IRS. I didn't say it. That's what they said.
According to the U.S.
Okay. Who's paying these bills? Who's
Hey.
paying more than half? That's the head of the household. But I think that it can be emasculating,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And honestly, so then I started looking at statistics, and honestly, what it comes down to is there are not a lot of Black men that match my income. And so what does that look like?
Ooh, that's good.
What does that look like? And what I'm not going to do, tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be a roommate.
No.
I'm not going to be married to somebody, have their kids, and feel like a single mom.
Yeah, no.
Because there are a lot of women out here that are doing that. So I'm very clear on what I'm not going to do.
There we go.
But now it's like, how do we sharpen and dial in on what I am going to do? And so, Scarlett was like, well, he can still make less money than you, and he can still man the household. Like, he can still take care of the bills. And I was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right.
He could watch them kids, and he could cook dinner and do hair and all.
But I think it comes down to, and then they were also talking about the difference between being an alpha male and being masculine, and things like that, and being high value versus high earning. So a lot of men were asking, am I high value? And they were like, you're high earning, but you are not high value.
Whoa. And was it men leading these discussions, or was it women? So
it was a woman's room, but they had men in there as the moderators.
Oh, good. Okay.
Right. So it wasn't, but so the whole purpose of the room, they were saying that men rate women off of their beauty. They say she's a 5, she's a 7. Remember, we talked about that young lady who was crucified by that young man. I forgot what his name was. I mean, he said, nobody wants you. You're in your mid-30s and you got a baby, and like just all of this stuff. No, he said high value men don't want you.
Yes, he said
right?
like a 3 or something, like something crazy. I was like,
but she was like, okay, you rank us this way. We're going to flip the script. We're going to determine if you're high value or not. And there were a lot of men that came to the stage, and I don't necessarily agree with all this, but I was listening in. I was trying to understand their perspective. And so in any case, back to me. That's another conversation for another day.
That is a good conversation we need to have.
And we can explore that, and we can, we can talk about what we think it means and what the differences are. They did make some distinct differences. Some of them I do agree with, but I think that for me, I absolutely want the man to feel like the head of household. I absolutely want him to feel like he has the final say. So I am not trying to have a pissing contest with no man. Right. And also, they were saying that a lot of high earning women, their job is their man.
Okay.
Right. And when I tell you, I don't know what my life is going to look like, right? If I get married and have kids, I might quit this damn job. F this job, right? I don't know.
Hey, I got my family.
Okay.
My husband has 2 jobs.
Right now, I don't have a man. I got to work. It just worked out for me. I don't know. And then too, if I end up going back to school and I, take on a total different career path, I'm going to have to definitely cut back on working.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be some income changes, but I definitely want to make sure that my future husband, whatever, that it is important to me. I am, come to find out, more traditional and less modern.
Yeah. And I think you've always said that, like you stood on that you are very traditional in that. Which is
I think that I always knew I was traditional in terms of like gender roles. Like I would love it if he knows how to cook, but get out my kitchen. Like that's sweet, that's nice, that was a good meal. Now get out the kitchen, right? Things like that. But I think that, the reality is when I was looking at the statistics, I was just like, first of all, a lot of people, I don't know, I ain't gonna get into all of that. But the point is, we know that Black people, when it comes to earning income, we are not winning in this space.
No.
When it comes to Black men, we are definitely not winning in this space. I do adore Black men.
Yeah.
That is what I want. But I am not going to be in some pissing contest with a man. And when it comes down to flexing and doing masculine things, I have to do some things because I live alone, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody got to take care of this stuff.
But you're okay with relinquishing that.
Oh, absolutely. You can please have it. Yeah. Please have it. Yeah. Have it right now.
And I think that's the beauty of you and who you are. But there are some Black women who cannot relinquish that power because, that is all they know. And I think
I will say, I do think that there will be an adjustment.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, he gonna be like, so you think you can just buy whatever? And I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, give me a couple months to rein this in.
I gotta learn all this.
I gotta,
I'm sorry.
Right.
And I feel like we talked about this before too, like with just carrying shit. Like a guy will see you and, well, at least me, and I'm carrying all these bags and I'll be like, no, I'm good. I got it. Like, I forget to relinquish, like, let that man help you. And I think, like you said, that is something that you have to learn after being independent for so long.
Right. Absolutely. And I do think that there is an independent woman complex.
That's good. Ooh.
Right. I think that those are real things. And maybe that's another episode for another day.
We gonna roll around like, what we talking about? But no, that is good. Independent woman complex for sure.
Absolutely.
It's crazy because I feel like as Black women, it's just so like DNA in us to have to pick up and go.
And then too, I'm just going to throw this in there. There are a lot of men who said, nope, we can be modern. Like, we can do 50-50. And they were like, see, the men who want to do that were raised by a single woman. And they think that it's okay for women to do everything. And then they were like, the second that he get his money right, he going to leave her and go get him a modern woman. Go get him a traditional woman.
Take care of her. Absolutely.
Because they were like, what do boys do when they leave their mommy's house? Mm-hmm. Right. And they were like, that's what, like when the men grow up, they leave their mom's house and you're playing mother.
Exactly.
And that's what he's going to do. So I'm like, interesting. So I don't think that I thought about like how bills and stuff would be split.
Yeah.
Because the last time that I'm never going to live with a man again if we're not married. But when I did, I didn't have no damn money. See, I made $6. I worked on campus. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have any money. So at that time, my boyfriend, when he would get paid, he would give me his check, but that was a whole different level of income. That was a whole different ball game.
And time frame, because I feel you. I will never, and I'm standing on that. It's been years later to live with another man, but we was definitely doing like the 50-50, maybe like 65.
70-30. No. 30. But it was absolutely, he was doing most of the heavy lifting because I made $6. So what we gonna do? I'm on campus, I'm young, whatever. But I think that it's also, even so, with guys that I dated in the past, I'm pretty sure that I made more money than them, right? They never officially would say how much money they made. I told them that I was comfortable telling them. I don't care. It's a number, because to me, it can change.
Yeah.
So I don't think it necessarily defines me. And I've worked very hard. Absolutely. I have worked my ass off.
No need to be ashamed of, your success for anybody. Like, I'm not going to dim my light just to make you feel more comfortable.
Right.
That's not okay.
I think too that, but then we need to talk about what are the expectations.
There you go. Yeah, got
because I think for some dudes, they be like, oh, I pursued her and I was paying for the dates and doing whatever, but now you're my wife, I'm going to need half. I wish I would.
I will flip the table over. What we not doing is that, because, listen.
I will be happy to take my income and pay off my student loan debt. That would be awesome. I will pay off his student loan debt or any debt. I will reinvest this money. Yeah. I will start a foundation. There are a lot of things that I would do, but I do want to make sure that it's traditional. It doesn't mean that I won't contribute at all.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's and then too, I think that when you have those conversations, then he might have some perspective that you didn't consider, and you're like, that makes sense. We can do that.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head. Like, it's about that couple having a conversation of doing what works best.
Right. Like what's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think that's the key. But some people don't have that conversation, and then they get into something and they're like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't sign up for this, but you did because you didn't.
Yeah. When I hear the women talking about they feel like they're a single mom, but they married, or they feel like they're a roommate.
See, no. You know what?
Ooh.
No. No, because I could do bad.
Because if I'm a roommate, exactly. If we're gonna be roommates, then I might as well stay where I'm at.
Exactly. Like, no, we don't need to do this at all, sir. For what, sir? Like,
right.
What? Ooh,
but I will say too, I think that some modern men might be like, okay, well then what's my point in marrying you?
Sure.
Right? Like, what are you bringing to the table?
Always that flip side.
And then I'll have to let him know that I will do for you what I do for all the presidents of the companies that I partner with through my organization. I am the source.
There we go. Listen, I'm like,
you know what I mean? I all day I sit here and talk to the presidents and vice presidents of all these companies. I figure out what their vision is, where they're trying to go with their company, with the next level. And I figure out how to work that into my strategy, right? I take care of them. I give them access to the things that they want. And then in turn, they take care of me.
There we go.
Right? So like, for example, with COVID hit, now this is a little bit different because I had my supply chain, but then, we let go of a bunch of people. So then I had everybody's supply chain. So we're going to talk about mine versus theirs.
Right.
But for mine, I mean, they love me. You know what I mean? I have one supplier in particular. He was only in the US market. When I came on board, I went to go visit the plant, right? Went out to dinner with him, did all this stuff, got to know his organization, his company, what they do, what their core competencies are, what they're great at. I matched it up with some gaps that we had. In 6 months, I have him in every region that we are in. He is now global. That means more income, more revenue for him. Mm-hmm. And in turn, when the pandemic hit, he was like, oh, there will be no force majeure. Oh, no. Mm-hmm. We gonna figure out. Like, not like any problem that I have, he's always this is the dude that sent all the stuff to the studio.
Oh, okay.
For Christmas, right? Uh-huh. Like, that's him.
You had all the finest.
Right. He's like, there's nothing that I won't do for you because look what you did for me. I'm the source.
There we go.
Right. Now, when I took over everybody else's supply chain, they don't have that relationship. All that stuff. I got hit with so many letters of people telling me what they're not gonna do.
Girl. Hey. All right.
This is not cohesive, but that lets me know that we weren't managing the relationship. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I do think that men need to find value in the women as well. And some of them look at it as income. Yeah. I'm not here to judge it. I just don't want it. Okay. I don't know.
I don't want it at all.
Don't want it.
And I think thinking about what you said as far as like comparing it to, your corporate job, I think that is true too, period. Just, you find a good high value woman, like she is going to multiply things in your life.
Absolutely.
Giving you a child or just overall upgrading your whole life, I think.
Exactly.
And you see that with any successful Black men who, have Black wives and they're married, like they just upgraded them, like they just make them look so good. So,
yeah, I mean, most successful men are married, right? And they attribute a lot of their success to their wife. Some don't.
Yeah, it's true.
It depends on what they were looking for. I don't know.
It's always the other side. But,
But, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm not saying that I'm not going to contribute. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that I definitely want my husband to be head of household.
Yeah,
I definitely want the order.
Because I could pay my own bills by myself. Like
I've already did that, so.
Right. And I don't want to. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. And I think I'm glad that, we're in this kind of society where women are talking like, no, I don't want that. I
think we're in a society where a lot of women are like, yes. But then I think that it breeds a lot of contention.
Yeah.
Because there becomes a power struggle. I don't want the power struggle.
Yeah.
I think that it's very masculine. And while I can do a lot of things, he could do a lot of things too. I don't want to, because I want you to do what comes natural to you, and I want to do what comes natural to me. I want to play a good teammate plays their role. I want to stay in my lane. I want you to stay in your lane. We can come out every now and again when we need to.
Hey, as long as we talked about it and what works for us, I think.
Right. And it might change. Yeah. You know, you never know. Husbands be getting laid off too.
This world, too.
I will say though, they said, okay, well, what if that high value man loses his job? And they said, well, if he's really high value, he can get it back.
Or he has other streams of income.
And that's what they said. They said, what high value man only has one stream of income? Yeah. That's what they said.
So there's that.
Or it's not at least striving to build something else. That's high value men, like they talked a lot about what they believe high value men are. So maybe we should discuss and we can weigh in on our thoughts on the matter.
Definitely we'll have to do that, because that's very interesting. And you know, talk to some guys, get Sean back on to hear a man's perspective on it as well. But I think that would be dope.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right. Well, what goes in our to-go box?
Ooh, that.
My dear sweet, what were you, the surfer?
I was a surfer, dude. I think what's going in my to-go box is just, when you know better, you do better. And I think,
but do we?
But I think learning about different perspectives and different things, like I wouldn't have never been like, oh, well, let me find out like about my archetype, or let me look at my attachment theories. But now that I have that knowledge and that background of that, then it does allow me to go into different situations, or, you know, when I'm dating different people, to be like, okay, well, this is why I react the way I react, or this is why I do some of the things I do. So I think it's just adding layers to who I am as a woman and as a person and as a dater. I think all of that is helpful when you're ultimately trying to manifest the love that you want. So I think these things are good to do. So that's what I'm taking in my to-go box.
Yeah. For me, I'm taking learn thyself, learn thyself so you know what you need and you know what you can give. And I think most importantly, you have to have conversations, because like we said, it starts. So I'm not going to throw out talking, because it all starts there. I mean, you learn a lot from conversations. And I think even with me saying what I think I want, right, when I hear feedback from someone, I might say like, oh, okay, well, that sounds good too. Or how about we do a hybrid model? And it could, it just helps to shape what works for the unit, for the couple.
The cohesiveness.
Yes. So I say just continue to have conversations, and don't be afraid to, and that's why I like Clubhouse, because a lot of times I'll just listen in. Like I listen in on so many different topics. Some that I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm just gonna check in, or some where I'm just like, I think I might already know my viewpoint on it, but I'll step in and hear something. I'm like, oh, I never considered that. Like, let me open my mind a little bit more, or let me not box myself in. So I'm always down for the conversation and for the evolution and for the learning. So thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Besties podcast. Until next time, peace.